No one noticed her at first. She blended into the hospital hallway like part of the walls themselves. Blue scrubs. Hair tied back. Tired eyes that had seen too much pain and not enough rest. To most people, she was just another nurse rushing from room to room, invisible in the noise of beeping machines and hurried footsteps. But one terrifying afternoon, when fear filled the hospital and an armed bandit changed everything, the quiet kindness of that simple nurse would stop time and touch every life inside those walls. Before we begin, take a moment to support stories like this. If you believe kindness still matters in this world, please subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. This is Kindness Diaries, where real human moments remind us who we truly are. Emily worked the day shift at a busy city hospital in the Midwest. The kind of hospital that never really slept. Ambulances came and went. Families cried in waiting rooms. Doctors moved fast. Nurses moved faster. Emily had been a nurse for 8 years. She wasn't famous. She wasn't in charge. She didn't wear a white coat or make big speeches. She simply showed up every day and cared. She remembered patients' names. She held hands during bad news. She sat with lonely elderly patients long after her shift officially ended. But kindness like that rarely made headlines. That afternoon started like any other. Emily was carrying a small plastic container with medical supplies and a lunch she hadn't had time to eat yet. She was thinking about her daughter's spelling test and whether she'd be late picking her up from school. A loud bang echoed down the hallway. At first, people thought something had fallen. Hospitals are noisy places. But then came shouting. Screaming. Running footsteps. A man in a dark jacket stormed through the corridor holding a rifle. His face was tense, eyes wild, hands shaking. Doctors and nurses froze. Some dropped to the floor. Others pulled patients into rooms and slammed doors shut. The armed bandit shouted for everyone to get down. His voice cracked with fear and anger. He wasn't calm. He wasn't trained. He was desperate. Not because she was brave, but because she saw something others missed. Behind the weapon. Behind the threat. She saw a broken human being. As doctors knelt on the floor behind her, whispering prayers, Emily slowly raised her hands. The men turned the gun toward her, shouting for her to back away. Her heart pounded so hard she thought it might burst. Every instinct screamed at her to run. But instead, she spoke softly. "I'm a nurse," she said. "I'm not here to hurt you." Her voice wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was calm. Human. Emily noticed his hands trembling. His eyes darting around. He looked exhausted, like someone who hadn't slept in days. "You look hurt," she said gently, glancing at his arm. There was blood seeping through his sleeve. The men yelled at her to stop talking. But he didn't pull the trigger. Slowly, Emily took a step closer. The doctors behind her shook their heads, terrified. Someone whispered her name, begging her to stop. But Emily kept her eyes on the men, not the gun. "Let me help you," she said. "You're bleeding." For a moment, time seemed to stop. The armed bandit looked down at his arm. His breathing grew heavy. His shoulders sagged. "My brother," he muttered. They wouldn't help him. They said he didn't have insurance. She had heard stories like this before. People falling through the cracks. People reaching breaking points. "I'm sorry," she said, and she meant it. "I'm really sorry." Those words hit harder than any weapon. Tears welled up in the man's eyes. His grip on the rifle loosened just a little. Emily reached into her pocket and slowly pulled out a clean bandage. She held it up so he could see. "I won't touch you unless you say it's okay," she said. "You're safe right now." Safe. No one had said that word to him in a long time. The men nodded, barely. Emily stepped closer, her hands shaking as she gently wrapped his arm. Her movements were steady, practiced. This was what she did every day, care for the wounded, no matter who they were. As she worked, she talked. About small things. About the hospital cafeteria food. About how hard the job was. About how everyone inside those walls was human. Slowly, the men began to cry. Not loud sobs. Just quiet tears sliding down his face. I didn't want this, he whispered. I just wanted someone to listen. Emily finished the bandage and looked at him. Minutes later, police arrived. The hallway filled with flashing lights and commands. But the gun was no longer raised. The men placed it gently on the floor. When officers led him away, he turned back once, looking at Emily. The hospital erupted in emotion after that. Some people cried. Some hugged. Some simply sat in shock. Doctors called Emily a hero. Patients asked for her by name. News crews showed up, wanting interviews. But Emily didn't see herself as special. I just did what I always do, she said quietly. I cared. Days later, she received a letter. It was from the man's brother. He had survived. A social worker had stepped in. Help had finally come. The letter ended with a simple sentence. Your kindness saved more than one life. Emily went back to work the next morning. Same scrubs. Same hallway. Same tired eyes. Most people still passed her without noticing. But something had changed. Those who knew the story looked at her differently. Not because she faced a gun, but because she faced hatred with compassion, fear with calm, and violence with kindness. And that is the quiet power of kindness. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need titles. It only needs courage and a heart willing to see the human behind the pain. You never know when a simple act, one gentle word, one calm moment, might change everything. So be kind. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Because sometimes, the world doesn't need a hero. It just needs someone like Emily.